We continue the NBA conversation today. Warriors coach Steve Kerr made an interesting comparison when talking about Mike D'Antoni's Rockets. Take a listen.
It's even shocking to see
60. I never thought I'd see 60 three-pointers in a game, but I was with Mike in Phoenix, and he was really the guy to kind of change the way people looked at the game and the way the game was played. And maybe I shouldn't be surprised, given the makeup of the roster, that he's just sort of pumped steroids into the Phoenix team that he had, and now it's the numbers are staggering.
He's pumped steroids.
I love it.
You on board with that? You cool? Was that kind of no pun intended, or do you think that was a little jab there to Steve Kerr's take?
I don't think it's a jab at his team. I just think it's a figure of speech.
Okay.
Now, steroids, athletes, I think we're all a little too sensitive to that, but I didn't think this was going to work. You and I did a segment here. Their over and under was 43 on the year, and we both, me more adamant than you, said there was no way that the Rockets were going to get 43 wins. And then I had to do another segment and say, I'm not going to lie, I'm an idiot. I was wrong about the Rockets because it has worked out. Steve Kerr, if anyone should know it, he worked alongside D'Antoni for the Suns, and I think Mike D'Antoni has bought himself another team or two with how well the Rockets have played this year. And James Harden's going to go out there and win the MVP this year. So, basically, if you have a point guard that can play, he could turn Steve Nash into a Hall of Famer and turn James Harden into an MVP candidate. So, man, he's got a lot to offer him.
I looked at the stats, and the Rockets are averaging now, they've reached the mark, 40 3-point attempts per game. 40. Like, that is just so far out there, hard to comprehend. I think Kerr mentioned that they made 60. They set the record earlier this year with 61 3-point attempts and hit 24. You played the game for a long time. Did you ever think you would see a team averaging 40 3-point attempts per game?
Well, the game has really evolved.
Right.
When I came out of high school in 2002, I played on a high school team. We used to shoot a lot of threes. I was a really good passer. We played with a lot of shooters. Sure, you make 8, 9, 10 threes in a game, which was a lot at that time. But you got to think, the guys that were teaching the game to my high school coach, my high school coach is aware of the three-point line. But when he played in high school, there was no three-point line. And then the guy who taught him the game, there was no three-point line.
Right.
So now that you're getting this new generation of people who grew up with the three-point line, like Rick Mount is one of the great shooters of all time. You may not know his name. He played at Purdue. But there was no three-point line. And he was bombing away long-distance jump shots. I think that's dumb. Because 2 is 2, no matter if it's a 40-footer or a 4-footer.
So why not move closer?
So the game has evolved where now it's worth more, and people who grew up their whole life with the three-point line, it's it's worth more. Screw it. We could shoot 35% from 3, and that's like shooting 50% from 2.
Simple math. Threes, they're going to get you more than 2s.